Well, welcome back, my friends, all to a First Strike rendition. This is the First Strike. Now, it was sent to me by Timbo 437. It is an 80 CRV2 steel micarta handle scales made by a very good knife company. It is a very good knife. I'm going to be honest with you. Y'all always hear me say, I love it, I adore it, blah, blah, blah. This knife fits me. Using this knife is like an extension of myself. Now, somebody asked me the other day, man, you ever had a bad knife review? You know, here's the truth. Because of the way that I do these and what I'm actually looking for to do with the knife, if I have, I don't remember. It's not always about being super positive. And I mentioned this several times, but the thing is this, guys, part of the reason that y'all hear like an excitement and a passion is all that is because I'm also trying to learn the knife, seeing its capabilities, seeing what I can do it, etc. So if it comes sharp, if it comes well made, if it comes correct, like Very Good Knife Company does, man, I'm going to like it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to learn from it. What I have found with the 80 CRV2 from Jacob is it holds an edge, right? But it's easy to resharpen. One of his underrated skills is the 90-degree spine. I don't know why I haven't really picked up on it before, but he does as good a 90-degree spine as anybody in the industry. Now listen, this is a true combat utility knife. Now I'm not a vet. I've never claimed to be, never will claim to be. I know a bunch of vets, talked to a bunch of vets, surrounded by them, but I am not a vet. So, Scab, how then can you say this is a combat utility? Because it has all the characteristics. See, a lot of times, civilians and people not in the military get it twisted when it comes to combat utility. We think knife fighting, and 100 years ago, probably, right? And you still need a knife in a combat situation that you can stab with, fight with, etc. But combat, the important term here is utility. What else can it do? Because as we well know, and if you study any battles, any wars throughout history, you are not fighting 24/7. You're not. Most of the time, you've got to hurry up and wait, or you're waiting and then it explodes and then you're waiting. So it's got to be able to do other things, right? I said all that to say that. It's got to be able, the utility part's important. You got to be able to, you're going to pry with it. And listen, guys, soldiers and sailors throughout history, regardless of gender, have been hell on their knives. So you need a knife that's tough. You need one that's durable. You need one that works. You need one that can cut sandblast hose. And I want y'all to pay attention to that particular cut, because there were times that I could go right back into that cut. Like I could have ended that cut at any time. This knife is sharp enough and controllable enough that I was able to weave back into the sandblast hose, then turn around and get some really good slices on this air potato. Now, that's not a real potato. It has a little thicker texture, a little slimier texture, but it's a lot like a potato. I like using them kind of for a food prep demonstration. One of the things that I look for when it comes to the combat utility, it's got to be sharp. I mean, there's no way that you can make a knife in this genre and it not be sharp. There's no way. There's no way. That would make for a bad time. That you don't want to send me. Listen, if you're a knife company, and I've had a couple reach out to me lately with self-defense and combat tactical stuff, don't send me a dull knife. I'm telling you. The first thing I look for is sharpness. Why? Because you got to be able to do stuff, open stuff, cut stuff, slice stuff. You know, this is my little demonstration that I love. This is a knife too that just kind of, and I said this to Kirk once the camera was off. Now, we got some really good penetration there, but I said this to Kirk once the camera was off. This is one of those knives that feel like an extension of my hand. I am not trained in any way, as you can tell, in any kind of I'm an old barroom brawler. But the more I do this and the more you get used to a knife, this is one of those knives that just flows. It flows nicely. It's well balanced. Most of the weight is in the handle. In fact, the balance point of this knife is probably 2 inches down from the top of the handle scales. So it's weighted well. It's weighted for. Now, I did this chopping, and we're going to go off the topic I was discussing. I'm sorry, but I wanted to touch on this. I chopped and I got right there. That's not the knife's fault as much as I got too comfortable. What I was doing, I dropped 2 fingers off the bottom, or I dropped one and I slid one. I did not have the correct grip, but I was surprised by how well it chopped. Is it a chopper? No. Would I want to do a lot of chopping with it? No. But it goes back to the utility. That's probably a 2 or 3 inch diameter, maybe 4 inch diameter limb. And it took a minute to chop through it. But here's the thing. It chopped through it, and you see all kinds of chips flying and all kinds of, really, really impressed with this knife. To me, the strength of this knife, one of the things that was super impressive was the penetration, the stabbing power, stabbing the tire tread, stabbing the punching bag thing. I don't even know what to call it. Great penetration, and it's got a false wedge. I'm sure if you wanted to sharpen it, you could, but really, guys, really, truly, honestly, there's no need. This thing gets awesome penetration. Now, again, took me a minute to chop, but this is a little bit bigger limb. If I was in the bush and I had to make me a quick shelter, I'm not chopping anything that big. This is probably the exact limit of how big I would ever baton anything. Let me just say this about batoning. When you're in Florida, and I mention this a lot, but I want to drive this home. I see a lot of videos, a lot of camping videos. I'm big into that. We're going to go into some of that now in the next few months. But here's the thing. I see guys camping at, one of my favorite is a guy in New Zealand. And it can be raining, snowing, pouring. He'll go out there and get wood and chop it up, saw it up, and just start a fire because it's dry. It's not a high humidity situation. It's low humidity. I live in a high humidity area. Florida is the swamp ass capital of the world. So when wood gets wet here, it gets wet to the core. So when I baton, or if I'm camping or something, the only time I would baton is if I didn't have something with me, or I just wanted to tap down a limb to a smaller size for tinder or kindling. That's it. I wouldn't go crazy with it, but it's good to know you can. No edge damage at all. No reverb in that handle. Just feels good in hand. This is one I would carry every damn day of the week. I love carrying it. I cut my sandwich with it today. It holds an edge really well. This one, Timbo, thank you so much for sending this one. I love this one. Jacob, great job. And guys, if you're not subscribed to Timbo437, I tagged him in the title, please do so. Awesome channel, awesome community guy. Awesome knives. And again, I'll say this, I said it yesterday, I'll say it today. If you don't have anything from a very good knife company, you need to pick something up. Now, I noticed in the last video, people mentioned the price tag of the Eagle. Listen, guys, this is a one-man operation. He does everything by himself, everything. So this isn't a production shop. It's a custom shop. They're going to be a little more expensive, right? And the reason I'm saying that is this. One-man dude one-man deal who does a phenomenal job. Now right here, there it is. What was that, 2-3 strikes? I'll be the first to tell you guys, I am not the greatest ferro rod guy, but when you've got a good 90-degree edge, and I think that's another thing 90-degree spine. I think that's another thing that is important on your combat utility. It goes to the utility of the knife. I think you need a good 90-degree spine. I think your handle has to be comfortable. Let me give y'all some specs. I got too far into this damn thing without giving y'all the specs. Now, the overall length is 11 inches. The blade length, I'm reading right here, is 6 inches with a cutting edge of about 5 7/8. That's what I'm getting right here. All right, the inner grip, which to me is the most important measurement, goes down to 4 3/16, and then it's a curved pommel. So really, truly, honestly, you can drop a finger under it, goes to 4.5, which means any hand in the world can use this knife. It's called the First Strike. Now, steel thickness is 3/16. I'm pulling them as we go. Blade width at its widest point, it is a clip point. The blade width is 1 inch. Let's see here. I'm reading right here 1 3/8 inches wide, and it's really nice and slicey. Really, really good. Everything's contoured to your hand. I like the way the micarta feels in hand. It is just fabulous. Guys, listen, would I carry it? Yeah, Jacob, great job, man, as always. This one really strikes a chord with me. It's the first strike. Guys, listen, instead of doing my causes, I want to say this. One of the guys who is a big part of this channel, y'all hear me mention him a lot, is Ricky Ricardo. Now, he's a friend of mine. He's been a friend of this channel. He is a guy that he's one of my dearest friends on this planet. He just is. We call him Ricky Ricardo. Half time messing with him, half the time just kind of keeping it low. Don't like to say his name a lot. He spent a ton of time in the teams, in the SEAL teams. I know this for a fact. I've known the man for 30 years. Saturday, his father passed away. His dad and my dad were good friends growing up. Mike was his father, and he was a hell of a man. Richard, man, I love you. Our thoughts, our prayers are with me, or with you. I'm sorry, from me or with you. And guys, listen, if you can, just in the comments. He doesn't comment a whole lot, but I know he watches a good bit. Y'all just leave some well wishes. Richard, man, we're thinking about you. Guys, I'm Scab. You're not. I love y'all. Timbo, thank you. Jake, good job. I'm gone, son.